This is for the undisputed title. It doesn't get any bigger than this.
In the heat of battle, these two guys, if you smell blood, you smell blood. When you go in for the kill, there is a moment where you inevitably become vulnerable. Are you willing to change your strategy to make your final close prematurely? I don't know. And that's why it's going to be a great fight.
We're getting there. We can fight tomorrow, but we still got a little more sharpening to do. Then we're going to be ready. So we taking it how it come, one day at a time. Can't rush greatness.
He's a really good fighter, and this is a challenge for me. Like they say, I have everything to lose here because he's coming to weight classes.
If you win this fight, does it push your... I'm gonna win. When you win this fight, does it push your legacy up even further?
Of course, but I'm not thinking about lose. I'm ready. I can feel it. I'm ready right now. If the fight is right now, I'm ready.
Canelo Alvarez has built himself into a global superstar, but a lot of his legacy is going to be tied to what happens on September 13th.
They have enough money. They have enough accolades. They're fighting for legacy.
It is such a boon to boxing when the money guy seeks out the biggest events and the best fighters. And Canelo, that dude ain't scared. He's not scared.
Finally, we're going to see the two best of this era fight each other. This is absolutely the fight of the decade.
The most important part of the fight for Crawford is his camp. He's got to put on 21 pounds, but remain Terence Crawford.
He's actually going to risk everything and move up in weight and fight the bigger, stronger guy. How can you not respect that?
He is willing to take a risk. This is literally uncharted territory for Terence Crawford.
Everything happened for a reason. And I truly and firmly believe the reason for me to be in this situation right now is to become 3-time undisputed champion of the world.
I don't think Canelo's gonna be bigger than you. You see, he gonna start pushing his ass around. Watch.
How does Crawford stop? Hard to stop Canelo. And if you can't stop Canelo, how do you get the decision?
He has a toolbox full of tools. It's just about using the right tool at the right time.
People talk about Terence Crawford, they're going to talk about how I overcame all the odds. I had to go through so much to get to where I am now, and I wasn't wanting any other way. They doubted me. They didn't give me a chance. Thought I was going to be a statistic. I overcame so many obstacles and so many life lessons that they can't do nothing but respect it.
Those things conspire to make his resume thin compared to other fighters who've attained his kind of lofty status.
You know, and if you look at his career, mention one elite fighter.
Oh, you haven't fought anybody. Nobody know who you fought. You know exactly who I fought. You a fighter, you know. So why would you go out there and try to diminish the guys that I fought because you hear the media say that? None of that matters, because I'm here now.
Stay locked in, young fella. Tunnel vision.
Crawford beats the shit.
Really? Yeah?
Now, I'll tell you like this, I mean, the weight division things, you know, but I hope Crawford beats the shit. What Canelo did on that day was disrespectful to boxing. It was just simply disrespectful to boxing in every way.
Recently, Rayleigh Romero attacked Canelo Alvarez, saying he hoped Terence Crawford would severely beat him in their impending conflict. Caleb Plant, however, stated that he believes the fight will be thrilling and action-packed. He thinks that compared to Canelo's fight with John Ryder, there will be more punches thrown. He anticipated that because to Ryder's defensive tactics and poor punch output, the battle would be slow. Caleb added that Canelo has previously stated that he dislikes sparring with boxers who don't use many punches. Caleb wasn't shocked by the outcome of that bout because Ryder fights in that cautious Cuban manner. He claimed that due to the styles, the impending bout with Terence Crawford will be entirely different. Crawford is renowned for his quickness and ability to fire more punches.
Be a good fight. Yeah, I think it's going to be an exciting fight. I think there's going to definitely be some back and forth and a lot more punches thrown than the Skull fight. I kind of honestly was expecting that with the Skull fight. Yeah. I heard Canelo say in an interview before he don't like to fight certain fighters because you heard him say that.
Yeah, he doesn't like fighting fighters like Skull because they don't throw punches. That's all they do, yeah. And
knowing how Skull fights and being a Cuban, and I felt like I had seen that coming from a mile away. I didn't really expect it to be I thought he was either going to wind up catching him and stopping him, or it was going to wind up being how it went. So, but that's a stylistic matchup, you know, and it's going to be a completely different stylistic matchup between him and Bud. And I think it's going to make for an exciting fight, a good fight.
Caleb said that he expects Canelo to be the favorite, as he is the bigger fighter, and Crawford is gaining weight when asked if he should be the favorite. He claimed that although individuals frequently think that size matters, betting odds aren't always significant. As Caleb noted, he was once the underdog, but went on to win a world championship. Caleb made no predictions about the outcome. He just stated that, based on his expertise of boxing, he is excited to see the bout as a fan and thinks it will be fantastic.
Think Canelo should be the favorite in the fight because he's bigger, or do you see he had trouble with Skull, his speed? Terence is going to throw a lot more, and he has that speed also.
Regardless of however the fight itself plays out, I feel like the betting, the betting people will probably have Canelo as a favorite simply because, Terence is moving up a couple weight classes, and people will say, "Oh, there's weight classes for a reason," and this and that. So it doesn't matter what the betting odds say, though. You know what I'm saying? I've been the underdog a couple times. Jose Uzcategui, I was the underdog. That's how I became world champion. So odds only mean so much. Once the bell rings, the fighters get to figure it out.
Do you think Canelo wins? Or do you think Terence wins? This is my last one.
Can't say. Don't know. I'm just, as a fan, excited to see the fight. And from the boxing knowledge that I have, which I feel like is decent, I think it's going to be a real good fight. I'm excited for it.
Chris Algieri added that although Canelo has been hit hard by heavyweights like Sergey Kovalev, speed is a different obstacle. He clarified that sudden, forceful blows, particularly from smaller, quicker fighters, might be more lethal since they take opponents by surprise. With speed and precise timing, even smaller fighters can inflict damage on larger ones. Algieri said it would be a significant occasion if Crawford could overcome Canelo's chin, which he hailed as arguably the best in boxing today. Because of the size difference, he described the fight as historic and uncommon, but he also added that because it is such a high-level battle, viewers will be totally engaged.
One thing, dude, speed's different. Power's power. Like he fought a guy like Kovalev, he took Kovalev's best punches, big guy, but speed is different, man. And punching power is a weird thing. You can spar with 126 pounders that can knock out a middleweight. And it's not so much that, they have power, sure, and they have power in their weight class, but then you put the speed behind it and you hit you with shots you don't see and you get stunned. The problem is that Canelo's got the best chin I think we have in boxing today. So if he can crack that chin, then whoo boy. But I think either way, it's an historic event, but mostly because it's kind of odd. But listen, we're going to be tuned in. We're going to be on the edge of our seat because it's that kind of matchup. Nothing you can say about that.
Carmel Mutton stated that he is supporting Terence Crawford in the fight, but does not have an official pick. Crawford, in his opinion, is more versatile and capable of more in the ring. Mutton claims that Crawford is capable of fighting at close quarters and maneuvering about on his toes when necessary. He said that although Canelo was a fantastic fighter, he was more one-dimensional and mostly used pressure, deft head movements, and counterpunches. Although he hasn't made a definitive prediction, Mutton believes Crawford will have the pace advantage and could outbox Canelo.
I don't have a pick. I feel like I'm a root for Crawford, and so I just feel like Crawford is more multi-dimensional. He can do more things in the ring. He can get on his toes if he really needs to, and then he can also bang in the pocket, obviously. And I feel like Canelo's a great, but I feel like he's more one-dimensional. He's just gonna put that pressure, slick head movement, try to come with them counters. But I just feel like Crawford gonna have the speed advantage, and he gonna probably just outbox Canelo. But I don't have no pick right now, but I'm rooting for Crawford.
Rolly Romero, though, stated that he hopes Terence Crawford defeats Canelo handily. He expressed his intense thoughts about that by repeating it multiple times. When asked why, he clarified that it was because of something Canelo did in a recent bout that he believed was extremely offensive to boxing as a sport. Rolly made it apparent that his backing for Crawford stems from both personal preference and dissatisfaction with Canelo's behavior, which he called utterly disrespectful to boxing, even though he acknowledged the weight class issue.
Canelo. I hope Crawford beats the shit out of him.
Really? Yeah?
Now, I'll tell you like this. I mean, the weight division things, but I hope Crawford beats this shit.
Why do you want to see Crawford beat the ish out of Canelo?
I just hope Crawford beats this shit.
Why? Like, Canelo, is it because of the last fight? Like you haven't been a fan of Canelo, or like why? Like, you like Crawford that much? Take your time.
What Canelo did on that day was disrespectful to boxing. It was just simply disrespectful to boxing. And
Rolly Romero went on to state in another interview that he doesn't think Canelo versus Crawford will be a major bout. Even though he likes Canelo and believes he is a fantastic boxer, he believes a bout between Canelo and David Benz would be more significant and larger. He said that size differential by itself does not make a fight fantastic, and questioned the notion of a smaller fighter like Crawford going up 3 weight classes to take on a much larger opponent. According to Rolly, a real huge fight either results from pairing the top boxers in the same weight class or from bringing together 2 charismatic celebrities who can provide high-caliber entertainment for viewers.
I don't think Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia 2 is a big fight.
I was going to ask you about that. I
don't think that's a big fight. I don't think Canelo Crawford is a big fight.
No?
I think Canelo Benavidez is a big fight.
I think that's huge.
I don't think a dude moving up 3 weight divisions to go fight a dude that's twice his size, I know he looked bigger than him the other day, but I mean, obviously, regardless, I don't think that's how you...
Furthermore, Terence "Bud" Crawford will defeat Canelo Alvarez, according to Shakur Stevenson. Although he recognized Canelo's abilities and achievements, he asserted that Crawford possesses the entire skill set necessary to win. Shakur dismissed the significance of the weight disparity when questioned, claiming it is frequently exaggerated. Canelo is much taller or noticeably bigger than Crawford, he noted, but boxers like David Bonavs are really massive. Shakur also recalled a discussion he had with Bussy Ennis, in which they decided that Crawford had a genuine chance of stopping Canelo if he takes him lightly or makes a mistake during the fight.
Bud gonna cook Canelo. I think he's gonna cook him. I think, Canelo a hell of a fighter, but I think Bud just got all the tools to beat him.
You don't think the weight difference is gonna be too big of an advantage?
I think y'all make that something, in certain fights,
Boxing makes it something, not us.
like if this was like a Benavidez, he's actually a lot bigger than Bud, so that would like apply. But I feel like with Canelo, he's like physically kind of big, but like height wise, he's kind of small. So I don't think so. No.
Have you got a decision established? Because Bradman and Boozy think that Bud actually might stop it.
Me and Boozy talked about that. That's crazy. Me and him got on the phone and talked about it, but I think that's possible. Like, I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but I think it's a possibility if Canelo gets to acting out of line and not understanding that Bud can crack.
However, Rolly Romero also thinks that if Terence Crawford fights Canelo Alvarez, size will be the deciding factor. Anyone who thinks Crawford has a real chance of winning is a complete idiot, he said bluntly. Romero maintained that there is a purpose for weight divisions. Canelo is also quite competent despite being larger. He doesn't think skill or technique are important in this fight. It all comes down to size. Romero doesn't think Crawford has a chance of winning as a result.
Canelo, we got Terence Crawford. That's going to happen in the fall. It's going to happen here in Sin City, your hometown. How do you feel about that matchup?
Anyone that thinks Crawford has a chance is a complete idiot. They have weight classes for a reason.
Too big? Too skilled?
Way too big, way too skilled. And it's not, this isn't a skill matchup. It has nothing to do with skill. It has to do with...
Fight has gotten a little closer because of William Skull, how he moved around and how easy it seemed to get away from Canelo if you wanted to move around. But at the same time, I haven't forgotten how good Madrimov looked against Crawford at 154 and what Ortiz did to Madrimov. I do think Canelo has slipped, but it seems to be obvious to me also that Crawford has slipped. Another thing, Crawford is not going to run. Now, Crawford is a little bit taller than Canelo, but that's not tall enough.
According to Showbiz, the altercation between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez has gotten more competitive in his mind, particularly after witnessing William Skull's effortless movement and ability to dodge Canelo's blows. Additionally, he recalled Madrimov's impressive performance against Crawford at 154 pounds and how Virgil Ortiz outclassed Madrimov, raising the possibility that both Canelo and Crawford are slowing down. Although Crawford is marginally taller than Canelo, the difference in height is not particularly evident, according to Showbiz, which also highlighted that Crawford is not the kind to run in a fight. He made the observation that, unless they are Floyd Mayweather, fighters of Canelo's size typically lose. Even though he still believes Canelo will win by knockout, he acknowledged that his confidence in that scenario has decreased.